4 years ago, the Denver Nuggets had a tough decision on their hands. With two emerging highly skilled but underwhelming athletic centers on pace for big contract extensions, the Nuggets had to choose between Nikola Jokic or Jusuf Nurkic. As we all know, the Nuggets banked on Nikola Jokic's upward trajectory, and even though he has remained one of the least athletic players on the hardwood, he has improved his game to an MVP caliber level this season. While Jokic's game is predicated off his unprecedented skill level for a center, he did lose over 25 pounds coming into this season, giving him that edge that he and the Nuggets have been looking for. So how did he do it? Well, you'll find out today because we're talking about Nikola Jokic's insane diet and workout. Before we get started today, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button so you can stay notified every time we put out new content. Without further ado, let's get into the Joker's diet. So before we get into his current diet, we have to talk about the diet that shocked the Nuggets organization. Way back in 2014, when the Nuggets drafted Jokic, he was flirting dangerously close to 300 pounds, but he still was skilled enough to be selected in the second round of the draft. Over the next year, Jokic elected to stay and play in Serbia, where his diet would continue to worsen. A year after he was actually drafted, Jokic finally made his way over to Denver, and when he got there, the Nuggets organization was not happy with how he had been treating his body. Weighing in at 295 pounds when he first arrived, Jokic had been downing Serbian cuisine like Cervapi sausage, along with an affinity for candy and a ridiculous amount of Coca-Cola. It was reported that Jokic was drinking a gallon of Coke a day. That's right, a day. Former head of athletic performance for the Nuggets, Steve Hess, talked about Jokic first arriving, saying, "He thought soft drinks high in sugar was okay and candy was okay. Freaking Coke, man. It's freaking poison. Just the worst." But once we got him off of that, he was good to go. It's odd to fathom now, as Jokic is in the running for MVP, hot off a conference finals trip, that when he was first introduced to the organization, they thought they made a big mistake. And while getting him off Coca-Cola was the first step, they still had a long way to go to get him into shape. But Hess knew that a super strict diet wouldn't work for Jokic. Not right away, at least. His eating habits were so loose and full of food that if he were to put in something super specific and slimming, he would either break the diet or possibly drain his body of all its energy. So instead, Hess guided Jokic to the types of food that he should be eating throughout the day and worked those into a 6 meals a day plan. And apparently Jokic was actually doing a great job with it. Hess said, "He did an amazing job of adhering to the program. He bought into it, and he works really hard every single day. One of the most humble individuals I've ever met." Because of that can-do attitude from the Joker, he was able to drop an incredible 40 pounds and decreased his body fat percentage by 21%, all the way down to around 9% just a few years into his career. As far as his new diet is concerned, it is not all that different from the old one. He obviously doesn't eat any more candy and hasn't had a Coke since his plane ride to America, but Jokic has always been eating foods like chicken, rice, and protein-plentiful meats. The big difference is how he has it prepared over here, typically more plain and with less fatty substances around it. This has been somewhat of a struggle for Jokic, who told journalist Zach Lowe, "Here it doesn't have any taste. I just need that taste, man. But it helped me. What Hess and Philippe did for me that summer helped." Jokic may not like it as much as the meals back home, but his detailed nutrition plan with prepared meals and protein shakes has certainly got him into shape. But as we all know, diet is just half the battle. Ever since he decided to put focus on his body, particularly after last year's shutdown, Jokic has been putting in the work in the gym and in the weight room, which was a dream for the Nuggets organization. When he first arrived in Denver in 2015, Jokic struggled to do a single 30-second plank. With the complete skill and strategy-oriented play of Serbian basketball, he has never been able to keep up his endurance, speed, or strength. But going into a league with some of the most gifted athletes in the world, Jokic knew he had to make a change. So while he improved his endurance through actually running and expending energy, he also put a focus on his already superior strength. That was the one positive about Jokic's size, is that he could easily push people around, especially in the post. So if he could lose some of that weight through conditioning, but manage to keep that strength, things would be golden. That's exactly what Jokic did, hitting the weight room tirelessly, putting in the effort for his team. And Jokic kicked this off by doing the simple things that get guys like him in shape. Remember how he couldn't do a single 30-second plank coming into the league? Well, now he does sets of them. And also doing dumbbell presses, curls, flies, bent over rows, and he has been spotted doing less traditional workouts in Serbia during the offseason, flipping humongous tractor tires weighing around 330 pounds in a field. Throughout all his efforts, whatever they were, Jokic came into the season down another 25 to 30 pounds, looking skinny and cut. Ironically, this even has some sports pundits worried that Jokic may have gotten too skinny. And while this may be an overreaction, Jokic did talk about how he feels better with a little more weight on him because he hates being pushed around. So now when he begins workouts, he focuses mainly on maintaining that strength that has him pushing people in the post. Jokic has gotten so committed to his workout routines that he has started a tradition of post-game workouts for the entire team. Millsap spoke about Jokic's training routine saying, "I mean, he works hard. He's in the weight room every single day. We've got a really good staff that works with him and constantly gets better. It's like every other game he adds an inch or two to his vertical. It's unbelievable to watch. And apparently has been inspiring to watch for the rest of the team. It started with him in those post-game workouts, only missing 2 over the past few years because of extenuating circumstances, but then former teammates Juancho Hernangomez and Malik Beasley started working out with him post-game, forming what they called the Three Musketeers. Then before you know it, 8 more players are joining him after Coach Malone gives his post-game remarks. The great thing is that they're all doing workouts tailored specifically to them. They're not just there for the optics. Jokic's post-game workouts have been both maintaining his strength, helping his vertical and conditioning, and keeping him healthy. Strength coach Felipe Eichenberger talked about his workout saying, "He's more explosive, he's stronger, he's more aggressive, so I think it's just a combination of everything. And then like I tell him every day, what you see now, it's what you've been working for over the last 5 years." And it's true, the improvement is really showing. Jokic is even dunking at a career-high rate this year. Last year, he recorded only 15 dunks over 73 games. This year, he's had 9 in the first 16 games, and they're still coming. While dunks may seem like a not-so-important measure of his athleticism, Joker's underrated stamina and longevity metrics sure do. Jokic hasn't missed a game due to injury since December of 2017. And during a quadruple overtime game against the Blazers during the playoffs 2 years ago, Jokic played 44 consecutive minutes and 65 minutes in total, which was the most in an NBA playoff game in 66 years. Now this season, he has already logged multiple games of playing 40 minutes plus in a game, once on a back-to-back. That's certainly not something Jokic of 2015 could do, and it's a tall ask for anyone with as high of a usage rate as Jokic. He talked about how misrepresented his physical conditioning is, saying, "To be honest, sometimes it's funny for me just because it's true, and yet I'm still playing in the NBA. Someone said, he's not even in shape. I'm playing in 80 games and he said that I'm not even in shape." And that sentiment is true. Even though he doesn't look like the picture-perfect athlete, the Joker's health and body shouldn't be much of a concern anymore. He said it best saying, "I feel rested. My body's where it's supposed to be. My shape is where it's supposed to be." That's it for today. What do you think about Joker's diet and workouts? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and have an awesome day.